So we have an Iowa autopsy report, and this is interesting because we all remember the debacle that was the Iowa caucus. Was it really a debacle, or was it like nefarious on purpose? I guess that's the question that's up in the air, and this report tries to give us some answers, however satisfying or not satisfying they are. So Politico says, Iowa autopsy report, DNC meddling led to caucus debacle. State party audit finds plenty of blame to go around. Democratic National Committee meddling combined with missteps by the state Democratic Party were the primary drivers of the chaos that torpedoed the Iowa caucuses earlier this year, according to a new audit commissioned by the state party. The report, which was distributed to the Iowa Democratic Party State Central Committee at a meeting Saturday morning and obtained by Politico, identified a series of errors made by the DNC, IDP, and the technology company contracted by the state party to build a reporting app to collect caucus results. The February caucuses were overrun by foul-ups. The state party was unable to report a winner on caucus night. The mobile app to report results failed to work for many precinct chairs. The backup telephone systems were jammed, and some precincts had initial reporting errors. The state party chair, Troy Price, resigned in the wake of the debacle, which put Iowa's status as the first in the nation nominating contest in serious jeopardy. But the report pins the blame squarely on the DNC for the heart of the problem on caucus night. The delay in the reporting of the results, according to the report, the DNC demanded the technology company, Shadow, build a conversion tool just weeks before the caucuses to allow the DNC to have real-time access to the raw numbers because the National Party feared the app would miscalculate the results. The DNC's data system used a different database format than Shadow's reporting app, which caused multiple problems. Quote, attempting to graft an entirely new software element onto the back-end reporting system at the proverbial 11th hour is likely always going to be problematic, and it was ultimately the cause of a major problem on caucus night, the report concludes. Furthermore, the IDP was not involved in the development of this tool. The IDP simply permitted the DNC to direct the IDP's vendor. The audit states the conversion tool had coding errors that spit out inaccurate numbers and caused confusion about the accuracy of the results, eventually leading to delays in reporting, but the state party's app never malfunctioned nor was hacked, the report concludes. That's the part that made me pause. I'm going to read it one more time. The audit states the conversion tool had coding errors that spit out inaccurate numbers and caused confusion about the accuracy of the results, eventually leading to delays in reporting. But the state party's app never malfunctioned nor was hacked, the report concludes. Didn't malfunction, and it wasn't hacked. But there were coding errors that spit out inaccurate numbers. I mean, listen, we had the discussions at the time. You had the campaigns of many of the corporate Democrats help fund the creation of this app. Mayor Pete's team helped fund the creation of this app. And then you had Mayor Pete go out there and declare victory early. You had, by the way, the certifying of incorrect results. And I remember this because Taniel on Twitter, who's, by the way, not a conspiracy theorist by any stretch of the imagination. He's as data-based as it gets. And he was going through the results and saying, okay, this is wrong, and this is wrong, and this is wrong, and this is wrong. And it all added up to Pete basically winning what is, in essence, a state electoral college victory, while Bernie had the popular vote victory. And again, they certified incorrect results. And now I read a line like that. The audit states the conversion tool had coding errors that spit out inaccurate numbers and caused confusion about the accuracy of the results. But the state party's app never malfunctioned nor was hacked. I mean, listen, I only go where the evidence points me, okay? So I'm not here to give you conclusions about exactly what happened here. But I am here to say, this is fishy as hell, dog. This is fishy as hell. Especially given the fact that, like, Mayor Pete did well in, like, the first 2 states, and then he fell off the map and was nothing the rest of the way. Nothing. How does that happen? How does such a thing happen? It's just sketchy. It's just incredibly sketchy. It stinks to high heaven. The kindest interpretation of this is extreme, wanton incompetence. That's the kindest interpretation of this. Obviously, the least kind interpretation is they tried to rig it and kind of did rig it. So I don't know. I'll leave it up to you. You guys determine. But either way, it's bad. Either way, it's ridiculous. Either way, it makes no sense. How long have we been having elections for, and you can't come up with a system that gives accurate results quickly? Of course you can, but they didn't do it. And then you read all this fishy stuff, and you look at the funding of the app, and you're like, I guess the thought that always kind of pops in my mind is that we have documented records. We have history of meddling in foreign elections and trying to overthrow the results or rig the results. Like, this is all, it's on record. Like, we know about it. There's history of it. It's been proven. We also just do brute force and overthrow governments, right? Like, we send the military in or do some covert operation and try to do it. Everybody just sort of assumes that there are these moral lines of like, yeah, but we wouldn't do that here, right? Right? I don't know, dog. I think there's a reason why, for example, the majority of Americans still think that we don't have the real story on JFK. Not to get all conspiracy theorist on everybody, but yeah, polls show that a majority of Americans still don't buy the official story as to how JFK was killed. They think there's a nefarious plot that goes a lot deeper. There's some theories the mafia was involved. There's some theories the CIA was involved. Soviet Union, Cuba, like there's all these theories. But that's one where people are just like, nope, it just doesn't line up enough. It's too sketchy. I feel like what happened in Iowa is another great example of that. It's just like, there's so much stuff here. There's so much smoke that you just sort of assume there's fire. But like I said, being as objective as I could possibly be, either you have extreme incompetence or you have nefarious attempt at rigging. Heavy-handed attempt at rigging as well, might I add. If indeed it was rigged, because it was like everything was out in like public view, like Mayor Pete declaring victory when he didn't win. Like it was all just out there in the open, and we were watching it in real time going, are you kidding me? Like, what is going on here? So it really is terrifying, isn't it? When you look at what happened in 2016 with Bernie Sanders and the WikiLeaks that came out that showed it was effectively rigged against Bernie in 2016, and then this is how Iowa unfolded. But really, ultimately, the thing that did Bernie in, and you know this, and I know this as well, because we talked about it endlessly, but it was that last-minute consolidation of the centrist vote as Elizabeth Warren stayed in and kept siphoning votes from Bernie. It was just a perfect storm of nonsense. And then also, Bernie didn't know how to adjust once it was him versus Biden, and he honestly ran a terrible campaign as soon as it was head-to-head from then on. But I feel like I have PTSD just going back and reading about the Iowa caucuses. So they're putting the blame squarely on the DNC here. And at the time, if I remember correctly, I feel like the Iowa State Party was getting most of the blame, and they were clearly uncomfortable with that, and they were feeling like they've been forced to do things they didn't want to do. And now you see, like, that is what happened. What happened was they were forced to change something at the last minute, and whatever they did to change it, whatever this system was to get more accurate results, it was a square peg, round hole situation, and it made things worse. I'm not going to be able to get that line out of my head, though. The audit states the conversion tool had coding errors that spit out inaccurate numbers and caused confusion about the accuracy of the results, eventually leading to delays in reporting. But the state party's app never malfunctioned, nor was it hacked. Read that line about 20 times. It'll do a number on your head.